Olive Spectre is a pre-made sim first introduced in The Sims 2. She is an elder who lives at 13 Dead End Lane in Strangetown with her teenage niece Ophelia Nigmas. Olive is a widow many times over, and the graves of her many husbands are located in her yard, including Euthanasia, Rigor Mortis, and most recent husband Ichabod Spectre. She is also in possession of the grave of her former fiancé, Earl E. Demise, who left her at the altar and then died shortly after. Many players have theorized that Olive is responsible for the deaths of these men, as well as several other Sims whose graves are located in her private cemetery, including the ex-wife of General Buzz Grunt, Lila Grunt, as well as service people like maids and delivery people. Olive's sister, Willow, and her husband, Creon Nigmas, Ophelia's parents, also have graves here. Her house is understandably haunted by the ghosts of the many Sims buried in her yard. Sims close to Olive mysteriously dying isn't something that started in her adulthood. Olive's parents both have fire listed as their cause of death and died as adults, implying they died in a fire when Olive was still young. At some point, maybe when her parents died, or maybe when her first fiance or one of her many husbands died, Olive met the Grim Reaper, and after repeated encounters with each other, a romance developed between them. It's not clear when this romance first started, but Olive's memories do show her first woohoo with the Grim Reaper occurred when she was an elder. She has a later memory of giving birth to her son, Nervous Subject, which shouldn't be possible as elder Sims can't become pregnant. On top of that, Nervous Subject is now an adult, and if Olive was an elder when he was born, she should already have died of old age, yet here she is. Some attribute this discrepancy to supernatural circumstances, with Nervous Subject's father apparently being the Grim Reaper, while some others blame Olive's old age for her unreliable memory. This discrepancy may also just be a developer oversight. It should also be noted that when Nervous Subject was a toddler, he was taken away from Olive Spectre by a social worker due to neglect. But the idea that her memories are wrong is further supported by the Sims 3 store world of Midnight Hollow, which takes place many years before The Sims 3 and features Olive Spectre as an adult and her toddler son, Nervous Subject. Their household bio hints at Grim being Nervous's father by describing Nervous as something to remember him by after his mother's relationship with Grim came to an end. It should also be noted that there are other timeline discrepancies between The Sims 2 and The Sims 3 regarding Olive Spectre and Nervous Subject. For example, in The Sims 3, Olive's husband, Ichabod Spectre, was already deceased and haunting her garden before Nervous Subject was even born. But in The Sims 2, Nervous Subject had already been taken away by a social worker by the time Olive met Ichabod. Nervous is living with Loki and Cersei Beaker in The Sims 2, and many people claim that he was adopted by the couple after being taken away from Olive, but that is not entirely true. Loki and Cersei are only slightly older than Nervous and would have been too young to adopt him when he was a toddler, and by the time they were old enough to adopt, he would have been just days away from becoming an adult himself. The Beakers also have no memories of adopting Nervous, and he has no memory of being adopted. It's more likely that he was raised in foster care and was somehow obtained by the Beaker family to be used as a test subject rather than being legally adopted. Since Nervous was taken away from his mother at such a young age, now as an adult he has no relationship with her, and his existence is more of a distant memory to Olive and her family. Her niece Ophelia doesn't even know Nervous Subject exists. At the start of The Sims 2, Olive is just days away from passing of old age. Olive has a want to retire from her job, and she has already reached level 5 of the slacker career. Ophelia is expected to inherit Olive's money, but when Olive dies of old age, in a surprise turn of events, her inheritance goes to Nervous Subject instead, as Olive had secretly willed everything to her son. A version of Olive Spectre and Ophelia was made by Maxis and released on the Sims 4 gallery. This version of Olive is unemployed and has no skills, and this version of Ophelia has the last name Specter, but the two don't recognize each other as family, as Ophelia's deceased mother Willow is not in the household. A version of Nervous Subject is also available on the Sims 4 gallery as part of the Beaker household, but he too is not connected to Olive Spectre on the family tree, as he is part of a different downloadable household.